Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you are. My name is John, or Last Frontier Bricks, and this is my review on both the Lego Marvel Avengers Tower and the accompanying taxi GWP that came with it. The Avengers Tower is set number 76269, comes with 5,201 pieces, and a whopping 31 figures, making it the most minifigure heavy set LEGO has put out to date, and retails for $500. And the taxi GWP is set number 6487483. That's a lot of numbers. Comes with a total of 150 pieces and 4 figures, and it was released as a GWP with Avengers that came out with Avengers Tower, or so long as you bought within the first week of the tower's availability. Oh man, is this a set that has been on my LEGO wishlist for quite some time. This thing looks absolutely ginormous, and on top of that, it is also my very first modular building I have ever owned. And I can tell you right now, this thing is ginormous. I think I'm gonna love it already. We'll go ahead and open up the GWP first, because I'll probably end up building that one first. Almost hate to destroy the box on this one. All right, looks like it's all in one bag, and how about that? It's a Ziploc bag. How about that? And on top of that, take a look at this thing. The front of the box is actually also the instruction manual. That's awesome. So just jump straight into the build. Oh, it got all your parts and no ads to speak of. Taking a look at the box on the Avengers Tower, here you see basically all your figures on front, plus inside the buildable Leviathan, Loki's Chariot, and the buildable Quinjet. Taking a look at the top of the box, they show just how minifigure heavy this thing is, as they show every single minifigure in this set, including the buildable dummy. Taking a look at the side, we have a nice look at the top of the tower itself, along with the little device Selvig makes for the portal. And taking a look at the back of the box, we see a bunch of images showing off scenes you can recreate with all the figures and places, along with the dimensions of the building. We have 34 centimeters or 13.3 inches wide, and 90 centimeters or 35 inches high. This thing is an absolute monster. Let me go get a box cutter knife and we'll get this thing open. Alright, let's get this bad boy open. And there we go. Oh, cool. Take a look at this. Nice little image into there of your Avengers. There's in a really nice looking image there. Okay, I'm not even going to count how many bags are in this thing. Oh, so many. Oh man, and there's another box in here. It's a box within a box. Here. Let me put it out like that, and oh man, the biggest unboxing I've ever done. Whew, there we go. And I imagine the instruction manuals are in there. They better be. I didn't pull them out before this thing. Okay. Oh, shoot. I guess I didn't need to open up both sides. Okay. More parts. I'm going to have a fun time organizing those when I go to build this thing. Whew. Okay, that's all the parts. One big base plate. Ooh, ooh, this file folder's thick. Like 2, maybe 3 C's. Okay, okay, here we go. Okay, wow, that's a lot of instruction manuals. Got and a whole heap of stickers. I'm not gonna like that. Also, they have Falcon's wing. That's either Falcon or Wasp wings, and Vision's cape, and in a plastic seal. Nice. Oh boy, look at this. 3 instruction manuals for this thing. Oh, just something pretty cool. So starting off, back of instruction 1, yeah, Stark Tower. Then, as you go to instruction manual 2, letters are falling off. By the time you get to the instruction manual 3, the only one that's left is the Avengers A, much like what you see in Avengers the movie. Awesome. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you guys would want to, but I doubt I'm going to be able to do a time-lapse on this thing. It's just going to take up too much space on my phone. Time-lapse, not to mention time-lapses, is take up a lot of the battery on my phone. So, through the magic of video editing, we are going to jump to when this monster build is already done and built right now. Hey, that worked. All right, so the build is done. I will say you will probably want, I don't know, a good weekend or so to do the full build. But for right now, we will be taking a look at the Taxi GWP, starting off with the minifigures, with the big one being the Black Panther. Absolutely fantastic. I'd say this might be an original design. It might be based off of Civil War. But I do like the design. Good mix of metallic gray and regular paint, and of course he's got the Wolverine claws and the usual Black Panther minifigure top. Good looking figure. I think he's going to be a nice addition. And then next up we've got a civilian, and with a pretty good look going on. I do believe this is the Doc Brown hair and a regular brown. Nice little nice printing on the torso. I like the metallic gray they got for the zipper on his jacket there. Plus, it's a nice printing on the legs as well. Like you can see a couple pockets on his jeans, and just a little bit of printing on the back of the torso. His accessories are a cup of coffee, and I do believe that is supposed to be some shawarma. And he does have a double-sided face, with the other one being a much more scared face, which, in his defense, would be very fitting once he runs into these guys. Admittedly, these guys never show up in Avengers, Age of Ultron, or Endgame, but they're a nice addition. There are a couple of Outriders from Infinity War. Actually, technically, my fault. My bad. They did show up in Endgame, but just only showed up in the present. They didn't show up in the Battle of New York. But they're basically the same look for the Outriders that we've been getting since the Infinity War sets. But props to Lego. They basically nailed the guys right off the bat. And a good mix of metallic gold painting all over the face and the torso. And they have the same usual attachment for the arms. Plus, they have the short version of the arms. Also, nice little detail. They added a little transparent disc piece as basically a minifigure stand for them. A nice little touch there. As for the taxi itself, I believe it is a 6x18 in stud size. Does have a couple of stickers for the license plate and the taxi, but it's a pretty decent size build. And as you notice, it does have a little stand to basically attach Black Panther, or to basically have him jumping into action. Basically, have him jumping into action. As you can see, you can just take the top off. I do believe you can fit two Mickey figures in here. I've only ever tried with the one, so we'll basically have this guy up in front. Basically, have him be the driver. We can get him in there. Here we go. And I do have another figure right here. We'll be seeing him later. And I believe yep, okay, you can fit both a, yep, okay, yes, you can fit both a driver and a passenger in there, about as tight a fit as you can get in the car, but they do fit. And you also have a couple of things in the back. You have a suitcase, another piece of shawarma, and another thing we will be seeing later, the same Avengers fan cap that you see the Kevin Feige figure or wear. So nice little touch there. But have a we have both the Avengers Tower and the taxi in GWP. You get two of those as exclusive Avengers caps. But it's a nice little gift with purchase. Nothing too crazy. But the Black Panther is a nice added the Avenger to your Team Tower. Good, a couple of Outriders. Plus, the taxi makes it feel a bit more like New York, and honestly, makes makes the modular building feel like it's in a world that's a little more lived in. Most of the time, I don't really remember most of the modular buildings coming with anything outside of, well, the building. There aren't any vehicles or anything to help the city that you're building. This the modular building to be added into help feel more lived in it. So yeah, it's nothing too crazy, but it's a nice little touch to make your world a bit more lived in, bit more realistic. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and head on to the Avengers Tower itself. So, as usual, once I do these Lego reviews, we will be starting off with the minifigures. And what a minifigure selection we have here in front of me right now. Let me restate that this set has the largest Lego minifigure collection in any one set in Lego history up to this point, with a total of 31 if you count this micro scale Ant-Man figure that I actually ended up getting two of if the camera will focus on the little guy there. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to do it like this. We've been getting these little micro scale Ant-Man figures from ever since Civil War, but I gotta say the detail on this guy is actually very good, considering how small the little guy is. Like, he's the size of, like, look at this. It's the size of my thumbnail. It's the size of my thumbnail, and they can get such good detail on him. Like, you get like you got printing on the mask, the torso, the legs. The little guy is fantastic, and like I said, I actually ended up getting two of them. One of which I got right here. The other you'll see with one of the minifigures. So, first off, in the order that they have you make the minifigures, we have Thor here. We'll take a look at that in just a second. And I believe this is the same Thor that we got with the buildable Mjolnir, but that doesn't mean he doesn't look really good. Very accurate to what you see in the movie. He does have a little disc piece he has a little bit of a stand. He does have the new style cape with the very soft fabric and one hole. Well, I believe it's the same face print that we've been getting for Thor since Endgame, strangely or not, complete with the lightning eyes. Here's what the back of the torso looks like without with the cape up. Good looking figure. Of course, he does have his favorite thing in the world, Mjolnir. And he always has this. I believe this is a piece from either Ninjago or Chima, and they're using it to great effect as a lightning bolt, and you can have it both on the little action pose piece here, which were originally designed for this set, and you also have a blue transparent cone here, for a little added lightning effect. Right, so you can use the action piece to make it look like he's throwing the hammer, or you can just have him hold on to it with the lightning, and that looks really good too. So yeah, guys, addition to the minifigure lineup, absolutely necessary. Next up, we actually get 4 of these guys. We got a couple, some Chitauri. I believe they're all the same design, but only 2 of them get this buildable weapon. Why the other 2 don't get them will be revealed in the next section of the video after I clear out all these minifigures. Anyway, good printing on them. A little bit of metallic gold printing on the torso. Oh, good printing on the back. On the back of the head, the torso as well. Oh, again, the top paint on the top of the head. No printing on the arms or legs, but I don't think they were really necessary. And the weapon is super simple, only uses 4 pieces, but looks really good. Next up, we have, well, everyone's falling down. This is what I get for trying to make them look nice, but also trying to fit them all on camera at once. Okay, next up, we have Iron Man in the Mark 7 suit. And again, very necessary, as this suit did make its first appearance right smack at the beginning of the Battle of the New York. Good printing all around. I believe it's the same version of the Mark 7 that we got in the Avengers Quinjet. And in this, it does use the newer style of helmet. Of course, you can flip it up to see Tony Stark's face. One side with the heads up display, the other with his usual Tony Stark smirk. Good printing all around with both metallic silver and metallic gray and metallic gold, all both on front and back. And of course, he has the usual transparent blue pieces that give him the impression that he is flying. So nice, good looking figure there. Next up, we have a trio of shield agents. Well, technically a trio. As you'll find out. Both of these have these. I believe these were first used in the Jurassic World sets as dark guns, but they use these gunmetal gray lightsaber hilts as basically scopes. So a nice little addition there. And they both have a couple of cufflinks. The printing on the torso shield logo looks really good. Good there. No arm or leg printing, but they do have a little bit of back printing with the shield. And we actually get one male figure, one female figure. The female figure has an alternate face, but strangely enough, as you'll see, put that one there, the male figure only has one face. Don't know why, but yeah, both have the same weapon and the cuffs and the torso. And next up, we technically have a shield agent in disguise. It's actually Tony from Endgame, and as you can see, he's got the other micro-scale Ant-Man figure, and his accessory is not a weapon or a cufflink. It's the case that they carry, that they hold the Tesseract in, before or due to Tony being Tony, making Hulk take the stairs. They end up losing the Tesseract to Loki, and then that starts that whole misadventure. Next up is a first for a actually a couple of firsts. It's for this figure. This is Alexander Pierce, who's head of Shield, who actually made his first appearance in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. So this is technically the very first Captain America Winter Soldier figure we got outside of the Winter Soldier poly bag. So very cool. Good printing for the face. It certainly looks like the character. Interesting hairpiece, but looks good. Nothing too crazy going on the torso, but it is good. But it does look pretty good. No arm or leg printing, and no alternate face. So nothing too crazy going on, but certainly looks good. Next up, we got technically one character, but also technically two. We've got two versions of Captain America. One with the helmet, one without. Both have the same torso and legs as the Avengers Quinjet, which still really disappoints me. We really need a Steve Rogers Captain America with dual molded legs, so we can get those red boots. The regular face Captain America has a secondary face. The one without helmet, and the one with helmet has one as well. One more neutral face, one more angry face. Although you can see the blue in the face, and once again the white in the face is just a little too pale. You can see that blue. But the torso looks really good. It's got the metallic gray star plus the alternating blues on the torso, which does show up. It's not as noticeable on the actual suit as it is in the figure, but it is noticeable. Plus you get a little bit of metallic gray printing on the belt. And then taking a look at the back, that looks pretty good as well. As for why the Captain America with the helmet currently does not have his shield, which again looks really good. They basically nailed that right from the get-go. All they've basically done is switched the pieces out from a red piece to a gray. So yeah, that looks really good. As I was saying, if you're wondering why this Captain America is missing his shield, well, you'll find that out in a little bit. Next up, we have another brand new minifigure to this set, and still exclusive. We have Dr. Helen Cho from Age of Ultron, who I actually only just recently learned actually helped that operation on Tony at the end of Iron Man 3, getting all that shrapnel out of his chest. Anyway, she looks very much as she does in Age of Ultron. Good hairpiece, interesting face print, and she does have an alternate face print when Ultron suddenly gets interested in her. And very fittingly, her accessory is a needle in gray. So nothing too crazy going on to her, but a very good figure and very necessary for this set. Next up is another Chitauri, so we already took a look at him. Next up, we have the Incredible Hulk. Looking really good. This is the Hulk with the new headpiece, which can be taken off. Love the look on that they gave this Hulk figure. Very much reminds me of when Cap gave his one order to Hulk in Avengers, and that's just, well, smash. You're very happy to see that. The big fig looks really good. Of course, I said the arms are movable, as are the hands. No movable legs, but they do have the gray pants that you see him wear in the movie. Very good. Next up, we have the battle damaged Mark 6 Iron Man, which, to be honest, I was taking a look at images online, seeing how accurate this figure was, and I think they kind of blended the battle damage from Avengers with the battle damage you see it take in Iron Man 2, because of mainly because of this big gash here on the helmet. That you see that in Iron Man 2, but not Avengers. Basically, yeah, in Avengers, it did get a bit scratched up, but certainly not enough to break through to the top layer of metal, so you can't really see the insides. Other than that, it's basically just burned a bit. Basically, looks like it just got burned a bit. So yeah, that makes me wonder if they blended together or the battle damage from Avengers and Iron Man 2. Lifting up the faceplate on this one, you actually have a transparent blue uh, minifigure head. So it's not like they're gonna they overdid it on the Tony Stark heads for this one, even though we still have one more Tony Stark to go before in this minifigure lineup. But yeah, bow damage looks really good. He certainly got the A Mark 6 arc reactor good with the triangular shape. So yeah, good looking. Good looking figure, even if it may be a little bit movie inaccurate. Next up, we have Nicholas J. Fury, director of Shield. Oh, looking really good. He has, I believe this gun came from the from one of the Lego space certain themes, and then he's also got a radio. Printing looks pretty good. Yeah, they're a little lacking on the arm printing, but other than that, looks really good. Next up, we have one of my personal favorite Avengers. If Fury will stay standing, he's making me furious. All right, next up we have Black Widow. Oh, in a classic Avengers one look. I really wish that they changed the hair color for her to. I honestly don't remember her name. I haven't seen the movie or on the set, but it's the one that it's the same hairpiece, but it is in an actual red that we got from the Incredibles 2 sets. Anyway, torso looks really good. You can see the Black Widow symbol on the belt. Got a bit of metallic gray both on the belt buckle and the zipper, plus a little bit on her leg printing, which I'm very happy returns with this Black Widow because I believe I mentioned this in my Avengers Quinjet review. That's the only Black Widow in the entire history of the Natasha Romanoff Black Widows that we've gotten that didn't have leg printing. So I'm not glad to see the leg printing back on this figure. Also, magnificent arm printing on this as well. We got the Shield logo with the metallic gray, plus her Widow's bites. It's looking really good. Yeah, back printing looks good as well. She does have an alternate angrier face, and she does have an accessory with a gun, which, to be honest, I'm actually a little disappointed about. Every time we see Natasha use guns, she dual wields, so I'm a little disappointed she only got one. But again, I can't be mad that because the leg printing is back. Next up is honestly one I probably, if I was picking out the figures, I would have switched out for someone else. I'll figure in on who at the end of the video. But next, we actually have Wong. So interesting choice for a Avengers Tower figure, considering as far as we know, he never visited Avengers Tower. I mean, come on, by the time Tony actually meets Wong, he's gonna be off the plane for quite a bit of time, and yeah, so yeah, we don't really know if he actually arrived. But for a figure who's an interesting choice for this set, he looks really good. I'm not really sure about like the smirk looking face. We don't really see him smirk. He's always so stoic. But other than that, torso looks really good. You do see some metallic gold in the striping. Looks really accurate to what you see in the movies. And of course, he's got the his accessories are like the little orange spheres that show up when they start to use their magic. Speaking of magic, our next character is one very potent in that realm. We have Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, who looks absolutely fantastic. Good hair, good face print. Good choice on the hairpiece. Looks it's really good. I believe it's the same one we usually get it with Wanda, but again, looks really good. Nice addition with the actual uh, uh, fabric 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 piece on the legs. Woo. For some reason, I lost the word. I don't remember what it's actually called. A little lacking on the leg printing, but looks really good. Her alternate face is definitely one you would not want to have a look at you, and you can also see the back printing with the hairpiece up as well. Looks really good. And her accessories are a couple of one by one transparent red tiles. Look, show she's using her powers, plus a 1 by 2 white transparent brick to give her the impression that she's hovering. Nice addition there. Next up is a figure we haven't gotten since the Age of Ultron line. That is the Mark I Ultron, where he basically just took a bunch of broken parts from the Iron Legion and fit in suits and put them together. And that very much looks like here. He does very much look like the walking scrap power. The Mark I Ultron is looking really good. He's even got like mismatched hands where one's red and one's gray. Arm printing's rather lacking, especially compared to the torso and leg printing. But again, it does look really good. A little bit of metallic gold painting for the torso piece and the back of the head and torso looks really good. Even actually only just noticed this due to the printing on the front. He's even got mismatched legs, where one's regular gray and one's gunmetal gray. Hey, and much like the Iron Man's, he's got the transparent the pieces, given the impression that he's flying. Only only the difference between him and Iron Man is that while Iron Man's is transparent light blue, his is transparent regular blue. So only just notice that little difference as well. So nice to get that figure in a set again. Next up, we have War Machine, from his Age of Ultron design, which is basically the Iron Patriot the suit with the classic dark light and dark gray coloring. Here's how his regular face looks like he does have the new helmet piece there. Yeah, and actually, oops, I honestly forgot this one doesn't have an alternate face. He's but he does have his machine gun with another one of those. He's got a metal gray lightsaber hilts. His printing on him looks really good, mainly in his the minifigure is actually mainly gunmetal gray, which certainly fits for the War Machine coloring. But the torso printing looks good, as does the leg printing. And he's got the red arc reactor, and of course he's got the red transparent pieces for his flight. So really, really good figure. Nice to get him in this set. Next up is one I wish Lego would make a bit more accessible. That's Hawkeye in his Avengers one in his Avengers one suit, which looks really good. And I got the red in the torso, the shield logo. Oh, nice addition of the red hand in the left arm. The glove. Show the left hand. He actually has the same leg printing as Black Widow, which probably helped them out a bit to save a bit of money. But you also get a little bit of metallic gray on the legs. And his accessories are, of course, his bow and quiver. There is no alternate face on him, but there is some good black printing on him as well. Like I said, I wish they'd make this Hawkeye a bit more financially friendly to get a hold of, because like they've been putting out a good couple of Avengers 1 sets recently, but none of them have this guy. So I'm kind of wondering why he's not showing up. Next up, we have Virginia Pepper Potts. I believe this is the same one we get with the Ironmonger set, but still looks really good. Nice, it's a choice for the hairpiece. She does have an alternate face, though strangely enough, it's an angry one. I almost wonder if that's because it's the same headpiece we got from the Avengers Endgame set where we got her in the rescue suit. So, but still really good, very professional looking suit, and her accessory is uh, a transparent window, and where she's basically got a couple calls going on. Looks like she's on call with someone on maybe ordering some cheeseburgers for Tony. So yeah, really nice. Speaking of really nice, next up is one of my personal favorites of the new figures. This is the Vision. It looks absolutely fantastic. They basically revamped the design, even the coloring. It's different with the main, uh, like light. I don't know what color, like a light sand green. Well, he's got some metallic gold printing on the torso. Also, you may notice some really cool element, and with him is that a good portion of both him and his cape is transparent due to the fact that they're showing him in the middle of his face shifting. Super cool way to show off one of his powers. Also, this cape is a brand new piece. He's completely plastic. That's how he looks like on the back. And of course, he does have the Mind Stone up in his forehead. Very cool looking figure. And much like Scarlet Witch, he does have a 1x2 transparent brick to simulate his flying. Next up, we have the Wasp. Another interesting character to show up for this set, but there's a very good reason for that. I'll get to that in just a minute. The helmet looks very good. The eyes look good, as does the mouthpiece. Here's what she looks like underneath the helmet. And she does have an alternate face, and she also has a hairpiece. Let me put that on real quick. There we go. Her wings are in the same plastic as Vision's cape. Torso looks good, lacking in arm and leg printing, unfortunately. Yeah, here's how she looks like. Let me get this up. If I can get this up, there we go. That's what the back of the torso looks like. Another good looking figure, and like I said, there's a very good reason for her to be added in here, and it's a very cool reason at that. Next up, we're getting into the end game here. We have the last of the Tony Stark figures with of course, certainly not the copyrighted the Rock Band the shirt. Oh, I almost forgot the Mark 6 Iron Man does have the same hairpiece here. If you want to take off the helmet, and Tony's got a very good reason to have this little attachment here on the back. Next up, we have we have the Age of Ultron Falcon. It's looking super cool. Looking super cool. Oh, love the face print with the goggles. Good choice for the hairpiece. Now, see, this is kind of why I was a little disappointed with Black Widow only having one gun when she though she usually do worlds. So Falcon usually do worlds himself, and he actually gets both guns. So yeah, a little disappointed. I believe he's got the same legs as Black Widow and Hawkeye. Good printing on the torso. One thing I'm a little disappointed about is the wings. All the details are stickers, not prints. But it does have a red triangular plate on the back that can be detached for as the red wing drone. Let's see if I can get that back on. There we go. There we go. But the wings do have their function some functionality so they can be moved around. Let me get the head back off. Just a little bit of printing on in the back of the head to show the rest of the strap for his goggles. All right, and that's how the back printing for Falcon looks. So yeah, like I said, a little disappointed that that the details on the wings are stickers, not prints. But again, a nice little addition, a nice addition to the lineup. And speaking of lineups, with this figure, there's actually 3 variations of the Avengers team in this set. Of course, you have Avengers 1 lineup with Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. Here you have the new Avengers seen at the end of Age of Ultron with Captain America, Black Widow, Wanda, Vision, War Machine, and Falcon. And even cooler is that you have the original version of the Avengers as they showed up in the comics with Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Iron Man, and Wasp. Told you there was a good reason she was in here. All right, next up we have Doctor. Oh, almost here. Next up we have another first in this lineup of characters. We have Dr. Eric Selvig from the Thor movies and the Avengers. So very nice addition to the roster. Her face print on both sides looks pretty good. Simple printing on the torso for the shirt. No arm or leg printing. Just a little printing on the back. And his accessory is a Lego minifigure laptop, which is being very difficult to open up. There we go. I don't know. I don't remember these things being so difficult to open up. So yeah, simple. Simple accessory, simple figure, but a very necessary character for Avengers 1. Oh, come on. Stop falling over. Stop falling over, guys. Kill him here. The joys of trying to stand your minifigures up when they aren't on base plates. Forget it. Alright, next up, we have a very special minifigure, the very first more real life Marvel connected the person in a Lego set, and that is the man behind the MCU himself, Kevin Feige. Yeah, a fun little story. We're going to throw this figure in anyway, under the name of Avengers fan Kevin, but apparently Kevin Feige gave them the go ahead to just call him Kevin Feige. But he absolutely deserves to be in the set. The MCU wouldn't be the MCU it is without him. But what can I say? I'm still a little disappointed we didn't get Stan Lee in the Daily Bugle. Anyway, good face printing. Torso printing looks really good. No arm or leg printing, no alternate face. But again, figure looks really good, especially with that Avengers cap. That looks super cool. And his accessories are a piece of shawarma and a coffee mug. Nice addition for the figures. Next up, we have the other 2 Chitauri. Again, those are without weapons. And finally, we have Loki. I believe this is the same Loki that we get in the Avengers Quinjet, along with the Avengers versus the Leviathan set that just came out this summer. But again, still looks really cool, really good. The drum lacquer. I believe this is drum lacquer gold with both the helmet and the staff. Again, looks really good. Torso printing looks fantastic with all the metallic gold on there. Same with the back, of course. He has the same type of cape as Thor with the new material and the one whole cape. And he does have an alternate face where he's got that mask Thor slaps on him in Avengers and in the Endgame. And much like Tony and the Wasp, he does come with a hairpiece. Yes, so that is all 30 or 31 figures in this absolutely legendary set. Absolutely fantastic lineup of figures. Personally, I would have tweaked if I was designing in the set. I would have tweaked it just a little bit, but again, I'll bring that up at the end of the video. So that's all the figures. Let's move on to the secondary build before we go on to Avengers Tower itself. All right, next up, we've got quite a few side builds that go all along with the set, most of which are attached to the Battle of New York. First up, we have the first thing you actually build outside of Thor and that first Chitauri. We have ourselves a Chitauri Leviathan. This is actually only the second time Lego's actually built one. First one showed up with one of the endgame sets. It's the set that's totally based off the completely legitimate scene where Hulk gets dropped out of a helicopter, but you can definitely tell this is meant for more of a kid's toy. This new one is not only quite a bit bigger, but quite a bit more detailed than the other one, and quite a bit more uh, film accurate. I am happy to say that this stand does absolutely come with the set. I didn't have to buy this as soon as the parts came with it, and it makes a nice little stand for the Leviathan. This thing is very well detailed. Oh, it is on a whole bunch of ball joints, so it's very much posable. The head can move around from side to side. It has some good up and down motion, and of course the mouth can open, and you can probably fit a little something in the air with that one. And by that, with that 2x2 circular tile with a jumper in the middle, so a good amount of teeth. You can't exactly see the eyes, but you can't really see them in the movie anyway. Like I said, the rest of it is on ball joints, including the front and back flippers, and quite a few of the joints can be moved around as well, so you can get it in basically whatever pose you want. And the stand attaches to this 2x2 brick here. Near the next section is somewhat movable as well. Love all the details goes on here, like all the armor or all the spikes coming out of the back, and got like these cloth pieces here on the sides, and for the ribs. It just looks just looks really good. Absolutely fantastic build for this Leviathan. And there's actually a 1x2 plate here in the back, where I'm going specifically to attach Thor or onto. I'm pretty sure that's meant to represent the scene where Thor and Hulk are fighting the Chitauri on top of one of these things, and then they end up killing it and have it crash into Grand Central Station. So very, very good build for this Leviathan, and I won't be too surprised if we see the same level of detail on the $50 Avengers versus the Leviathan set that just came out a few months ago. Next up, we have the smallest minifigure accessible shield Quinjet Lego has ever made. In fact, the instruction manuals state that this is the 11th Quinjet Lego has ever made. I won't be too surprised if that includes the two polybag Quinjets, since they made one based off of this appearance in Avengers, and then one based off of the one from Age of Ultron. There are a good deal of stickers on this thing for as small as it is. You got a couple of stickers for control panels in the cockpit, a couple of shield logos here above the turbines, a couple or more shield logos on the wings, and then even more are on the back tail fins. But the engines on the back are just the teeniest bit adjustable, as are the wing flaps. That's not supposed to be out there. As you saw, the cockpit is removable. You do have some landing gear here on the bottom, and on the side there are a couple of stud launchers. I will say that that cockpit is quite cramped. I believe just about the only figure you can actually get in here is Nick Fury. I tried it with Hawkeye earlier, but in order to do that, first I had to take off his quiver, and then after getting him on there, his Hawkeye's hair actually ended up getting caught in this little arch piece is here in the back. But I want to see if you can get it with at least one other figure. Let's go ahead, try Alexander Pierce here. I mean, technically he's part of Shield, so technically he'd be able to fly Quinjet at least in this time. So yeah, he actually fits in there pretty well. But he also has one of these smaller hair pieces in is available. I imagine trying. I doubt I'd be able to get it with Cap here. Like I said, he and Pierce had one of the smaller hair pieces. I mean, well, let's see. Okay, so I was able to get the cockpit on with well, as long as Cap doesn't have his shield. Can I get him out? Not without his hair popping off. So yeah, you can get a couple of figures to fit in the cockpit, but I won't be too surprised if it's specifically designed for Fury. Next up, we have an interesting little build. This is of the Mark 7 being deployed as like in the movie after Loki throws Tony right out of the tower. Although funny little story on this one. Let me grab the instruction manual. I believe this is the right one. It's instruction manual 3, is it not? Yes, it is. All right, let me get to the right page. Because Lego actually made a bit of a goof up in its description on this guy. And like just Lego just makes so few goof ups. It's just like when they make one, they tend to stick out. So I want to show that off to you guys. Here we go. All right. So let me see if I can get this to where. There you go. As you see, it specifically says Iron Man's Mark 6 suit is quick to catch up to Tony as he falls from the tower. So yeah, they made a bit of a goof up. This is actually the Mark 7 suit. The Mark 6 is the one with the triangular arc reactor, which Tony just got rid of before as he arrived at the tower. And this is supposed to be Mark 7, but the Lego goofed up and accidentally called it the Mark 6. Funny little story there. So yeah, it's an interesting little build. You can kind of see like the Mark 7 look as it is even though it is only semi-deployed. But yeah, interesting little build. Next up, we got two of these guys. These are two of the Chitauri hovercraft, and this is why two of the Chitauri figures don't come with weapons. They're supposed to be flying the hovercraft. So basically, just pop them on right there, or you can move the control sticks back here, and you're supposed to be able to get them to where the Chitauri can grab onto the control sticks. I might need to bend the Chitauri figure a bit. Whoop. Ah, come on. Stay on there. There we go. Whoop. Oh, no. There we go. Didn't even have to technically attach the figure to the back. The figure's hands to controls. But yeah. That's why two of these Chitauri don't have blasters. The two with the blasters are supposed to be on the ground. The two without are supposed to be flying in the air. So pretty interesting design for the Chitauri hovercraft. Like I like all the addition of like the metallic gold, got some pearl gold as well. All plus the transparent purple on the front for the cannon. And then we got another one that's dragging around another vehicle. This is supposed to be Loki's. This is supposed to be Loki's chariot, and to dragging him around. So let me fix up his hands so we can grab onto these controls. There's one. Doesn't have to. There we go. Whoop. Come on. There we go. On there. Yep. There we go. Now it looks like he's grabbed onto those controls. So yeah, fun little build. This one's attached to the Jatari hovercraft via a small ball joint, and much like this one, actually has a good amount of like pearl gold and metallic gold, plus a bit of tan, plus a couple more of the transparent purple cone pieces to signify for the engines. So yeah, fun little builds. And then of course for Wong, we have basically the same build for the sling ring portal that we've gotten, and quite a few sets as of now. For example, the Sanctum Sanctorum, and then of course the Doctor Strange polybag, and then of course the No Way Home final battle. So this guy can be attached to the Avengers Tower as well. And that is all. With all the figures and all the sub builds has gone over. Next up, it is finally time to take a look at the tower itself. And here is the Avengers Tower itself in all its glory. This thing is absolutely massive. Of the 5,200 pieces that go into this set, taking into account all the side builds like the Leviathan, the Quinjet, all those things, plus all the figures and their accessories, I'd say a solid 4,900 of those pieces went into this build. This build is 35.3 inches tall, or just short of 3 feet, and it is just over 13 inches wide from the back of the building to the tip of the landing pad. It is built on top of a 32 by 32 gray base plate, and they certainly take advantage of all that space. Instead of taking a look all around the build, you'll notice that this thing, that basically none of the studs of that 32 by 32 base plate are left over. And it is quite a time-consuming build. I don't know about you guys, but when I build, I tend to have some media connected to what I'm building, playing in the background. So I went with the also obvious choice of having the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies playing on my TV. And it took quite a considerable amount of time, quite a considerable amount of those movies to get through this build. I was watching the movies in chronological order, so I got through Captain America: First Avenger, Captain Marvel, Iron Man 1 and 2, Incredible Hulk, Thor, and Avengers all in their entirety, and then also about 2/3 of Iron Man 3 before all was said, done, and built. Though technically that also included the Taxi GWP. So yeah, this thing takes quite a while to build. If you get this set, I'd suggest building it over a weekend, because the build process on this thing is phenomenal. It's not something you want to rush. So I'm going to go over this thing. This first section is basically going to cover the entire energy of the exterior. Then we'll go into the interior, and we're going to start right from the ground up. And actually, technically, we're actually going to start off with something, well, technically you can't see because it's part of the foundation of the building itself, but something that you're going to know is in there, or just for the fun of it. Actually, they bring this up in the instruction manual, so I'll go ahead and pull that out real quick. As you see in the instruction manual, you got a bunch of red and actually a little bit of like an orangish color and the bricks that help form the foundation of the building. And I love what they said added into the instruction manual. As we added support into spacing bricks under the floor, we heard Tony Stark and Iron Man on repeat in our heads. Tell you what, throw a little hot right in there. So we did. So yeah, just fun little, just things were sweet and fun little nods to movie just about everywhere you looked in this building, even if it was stuff that you wouldn't be able to see in the end. So first off, you got a nice it's a paved sidewalk here with a bunch of plates with jumpers. So there's plenty of places to put minifigures in here. One of my favorite nods here is the Battle of New York Memorial you see in the Hawkeye series. Plus, also what might also be a bit of just the teeniest bit of a nod to Captain America and the Winter Soldier. In this trash can, as you see, you pop that out, and you got a wrapper of bubblegum, which I'm pretty sure is a nod to the bubblegum wrapper you see Natasha chewing on. And in Winter Soldier, when she meets up with Steve to talk about the Winter Soldier. Oop. And just for the fun of it, because it's bubblegum in a big city, you take off one of these little stools here. You can actually see the bubblegum stashed underneath the stool, which, to be honest, I almost can't help but wonder if the guys who are constantly hiding pink pieces in Star Wars sets helped design this set, because like it's a great way to hide a pink piece in a Marvel set where normally you wouldn't see pink. Also, you got a fire hydrant here, plus a couple of the guardrails that stop cars from crashing into buildings, and a nice size lamppost as well. Turn to the side, you can see the large panel on the inside of the building. We'll get to that later. But also, since this is a modular building, they do have the Technic pins on the side. Back in the back, you can see a back entrance to the Avengers Tower with a nice little sticker. One says enter exit only. One is a little Avengers sticker, and another is a ad for the Smithsonian Captain America exhibit. Nice little touch there. Next up, you got like I think it's supposed to be some sort of cargo crate. Over here in the corner, you can see Fury's pager for Captain Marvel that you see in Captain Marvel and Infinity War. And you got a trash bin over here has a couple of fun little nods. First off, you got a wrapper for some shawarma. It has some plant piece, and probably one of the funnest little nods, if I can hold on to it, is a canister of pin particles. How about that? Nice little nod there to Avengers Endgame. Let me get that back on there. There we go. It just sits on a 2x2 plate with a jumper. Swing it around. You can see the back of the building as well as the Technic breaks where the rest of the Technic pins are supposed to go into. I will say with the windows, it's a bit of a headache. I will admit that. building all the windows definitely gets to be monotonous. If you don't really like all builds that are all that monotonous, where you're basically doing the same thing over and over again, you might not enjoy this build. There are 259 of these little 1x2 by 2 or 3 window panes and panels. And let me tell you, I was very, very done building these by the time I finished the first floor. But yeah, there are 259 of them. But one thing I will say is that just looking at the building itself, the end result, well, speaks for itself. There's also a whole bunch of these circular window panes that make up the back of the building. In fact, speaking of those painted the neck window panes, you can see you got a couple of those popping out on the side right here. Plus, you see a little bit of a Technic piece with a rod on the side. And that's for this big guy, the Hulk, to just basically just grab onto and hang up. Oh, and basically have him hang onto it the whole time. Let me see if I can get him on there with just one hand. Trying not to. Whoop. Here, let me see if I can get him on there. There we go. Then I got him on there. Took a couple of tries to get him on there. But he's on there. He actually looks pretty good. You'll notice in the main build that there are quite a few of these Technic pins. That's for the action pose pieces. I'll get them fill those guys up at the end of the video. Moving on up, you see the Avengers logo. Looks very fun and brick build. Oh, and there's actually a bit of a change up on the other side. As you notice, one of them has has a little bird having made a nest on him, on one of them. So cute little addition. Next up, we have the landing pad. Of course, that is for our Quinjet. So go ahead, get that up there. Or go ahead, fold up the wings. Probably need to lay these down just a bit. And yeah, it fits in there. It's a bit of a tight fit, but it fits. These panels are super fun, fun solid builds, and they just fold in super good. And pulling up about at the top of the building head on up just a little bit. Okay, and you can see there is a little bit of a balcony with some railing and a couple of jumpers to put some minifigures, as well as a ladder leading up to the Tesseract containment unit from Avengers 1, which is a rather interesting build all by itself. It's a little weak, like you can get at the bottom here is only connected by one stud. But yeah, it's really interesting build. Some very unique piece choices. This antenna right here, I believe, is supposed to be a wand from the Harry Potter series. There's a whisk, like a kitchen whisk added into it. There's a small control panel here printed. I'm happy to say, just a little bit of blue to hint at the Tesseract in itself. Just a really fun, interesting little build for the containment unit, as well as a couple of antenna here as well. And there's also just another 2x2 plate with a jumper in the middle to fit Eric Selvig on top of the roof so he can work on it. So yeah, all in all, for the exterior, again, I would say the end result speaks for itself. Looks absolutely fantastic. Now for that large panel, to look inside the interior. I tell you, this whole build is just a oh, Lego building extravaganza. It is a marvel. No, oh, no pun intended. When it comes to Lego building, just how they make everything works, everything stable. So for this large panel, basically what you do is you lift up at the top, and then you can raise up the bottom, and the whole thing comes out. Again, it's crazy how they make the whole thing just look so good and so stable. So, with everything in the interior taken care of, we'll start taking a look at the exterior. Scratch that, reverse it. We've taken a look at the exterior. Now it's time to take a look at the interior. So before we get to looking in the interior, there were a couple of things about the exterior I forgot about. First off is with the window panes. You take a look at one of the sides. You notice the mark that it makes when it comes off the mold for the window is very noticeable. So I made sure to have all the marks pointed inside the building. That way it doesn't ruin the effect on the outside. Because taking a look taking a look at the window panes on the outside, you'll notice there's the mark isn't even noticeable. So yeah, I did make sure to make sure that mark is pointed on the is pointed inside the building. Second off, there was one thing I was a little disappointed, and that effect is mainly from these 1x4 and 1x8 tiles. I was hoping that the tower would be similar to the Daily Bugle build, where all the floors are easily detachable and retachable, so to provide better access to all the floors. Unfortunately, that's not the case, as these panels kind of help keep the building all in one piece. It does help with stability issues, as I'm sure that this thing would have if they weren't there. But it does make it so that taking off that front panel that would go here is the only way to access the interior. So a little disappointing there. So with our first, take a look at our first floor. We have like an office slash reception area. We got a couple of chairs in front here. Right behind there, we got the Tesseract, where it was left at in Avengers Endgame before Loki got his hand on it and started that little misadventure. Plus uh, a main desk area with a computer. The computer screen is one of these small window panes with a sticker on it, which is basically just a file folder. Or to the right of the Tesseract, you can see there's a Vita Rush soda machine where actually have a kind of this. See, this is one of the reasons why I was kind of hoping for the interchangeability of the floors to make it a bit easier for me to show off what's inside the floors. But yeah, there's actually a couple sodas inside that soda machine. Also, you can see back there, here next to the soda machine, is an elevator, and that goes through 4 of the 5 floors. I believe it's also the same elevator design that you see in the Daily Bugle. Oh, and I am very happy to say that all the arrow pieces for the elevators are both transparent and printed. There aren't a whole bunch of like teeny tiny arrow stickers that you have to put on all those tiles when you make the elevator. So very happy about that. Also, for some reason, you can't see them like in the main build, but for some reason they keep wanting to hide some random stuff behind the elevator walls. Like one of them has a Lego dollar bill, one has a coffee mug. But yeah, they keep wanting to hide this stuff back there. I don't know why, but they do. Also, strangely enough, while you got a couple chairs here, the office desk doesn't actually have a chair. It's just a 2x2 tile with a jumper. Like you see, quite a few there are quite a few in here. So yeah, so yeah, there isn't like a uh, a seat back there, but you can still fit someone back there. And like I said, there's plenty of those 2x2 tiles with jumpers, so you can fit quite a few figures in here. So that's the first floor. Second floor, as you can see the Hulk hanging out of, is actually almost two rooms. First off, you got this glass catwalk here. That's where Cap fights himself in Endgame. Also, just for a little fun continuity, you can see a couple of transparent pieces down here. They're trying to signify some of the broken glass from that catwalk. Below that, you've got, I believe this is supposed to be Dr. Chill's lab, but along with a few other things. You can see a computer with a sticker showing the Mark 7 being deployed, along with a couple of chairs. Back behind there is the gurney that Hawkeye is put on at the beginning of Age of Ultron, after the first fight in Sokovia. Although, strangely enough, not only does it have a computer heads-up display of an Iron Man mask and a arc reactor, you also got the Mind Stone back there as well. Also you can see a syringe in a little tray for that gurney. But right above there, that's the coolest. That's the fun part. Those right there, those are supposed to be the holographic images of Jarvis is in the orange and Ultron in the blue, just as Ultron initially wakes up. Very fun, not the Age of Ultron. Next up, on floor number 3, we have a little Iron Man armory set up, complete with Dummy over here, who's technically could be considered a 30-second figure. I mean, he's fully adjustable. He's sitting there on a 2x2 tile with a jumper. Alright, so whoops. Oh, and there's a couple fun little knots here. There by the elevator, we have a Ultron blueprint. And over there on the holographic display, in the back, we have the Mark XUX, aka the Rescue suit, along with a couple other holographic panels. One's got Loki, one's got an arc reactor, another has a Quinjet with what looks like Natasha on the phone, and one other that almost reminds me of a DNA strand. Maybe it's for Vision. I don't know. Oh, back in the corner there, we got a rocks on barrel. Not to mention that in that fire hydrant that Jarvis kept spraying Tony with. And then and then over here, that's a fun little one. You got yourself a metallic coffee mug, some sort of red statue, and one kind of painful, and odd. We have the Mark 1 arc reactor, and that little plaque that Pepper made saying proof that Tony Stark has a heart, and that's just sitting there on a 1x2 tile, with a jumper on it. So very fun nod to both Iron Man 1 and Avengers Endgame. If I can get back in there. There we go. Also, over there by the fire hydrant and the Roxxon barrel is a little something I'm sure Tony needs more often than he would like to admit, a wrench. So yeah, very cool room. Plus you got a little platform to put an Iron Man suit on, which it's good more for Tony to be able to work on the suits, which I'm sure the Mark 6 would appreciate if it was sentient. Next up on the fourth floor is one of the most interesting additions. We have Loki's cell from the helicarrier. Strangely enough, I don't know why they had something from the helicarrier added to Avengers Tower, but it is a significant scene. The cell is capable of being opened, and just like so, you can see a bucket back there behind the cell, and the elevator on this one has a sticker saying in caution out of order with a no Hulk sticker on it. And also there we go, you can kind of make it out now. You can see where the Hulk has actually punched a hole into it. The fun little nod to Avengers Endgame. Speaking of fun little nods, you can see the who is the Iron Man newspaper from the end of Iron Man 1. And it looks like, and just for another fun Winter Soldier nod, you can see Loki's got a bit of a cellmate. We got the computerized version of Dr. Arnim Zola from Winter Soldier. Fun little nod there. So, next up, we have the main room on this same level as the helicarrier pad. We have the little lounge area from Age of Ultron where the party takes place. And fortunately, this one's a bit easier to access for people who don't have the smallest hands, as this section of the roof can be taken off and again you can get some full access to the interior. So for inside here, like I said, we got the little lounge area. Got a couple of couches. Yes, you got the little bar back there, along with, of course, Thor's hammer, which everyone tries to lift, as well as a Battle of New York newspaper as well, along with a couple of TVs. Let me see if I can. There we go. Along with a couple of TV screens, one with a report about Hulk going on a rampage, and the other. Here, actually, I'll just take these off. They're easily removed. So, like I said, first off, we got one of a Hulk rampage, along with another Winter Soldier nod, which certainly I'm not going to complain about. We got weather update. Who is the Winter Soldier? And then for the other one, yeah, there we go. For the other one, we've got a bunch of interesting stuff. We got a how to lift safely video, Asgard cardio, be an ant. Not to who is watching, whether it be Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, Hulk, or Thor Odinson, along with Hydra quickly deleting all of its browser history. So yeah, fun little room in there. Fortunately, the last two rooms are a bit easier to access, as much like the lounge. This room has a wall that can be completely taken out. Got a couple of pieces of modern art, and two of my favorite Easter eggs. First off, we have a 2x3 tile of the very first appearance of the Avengers in comics. Unfortunately, that is a sticker, but a very, very fun nod to showing off the very first Avengers comic. And even better, we have the place where Hulk smashed Loki straight into the floor, pulling one of his best lines, "Puny God." And then right underneath where the Tesseract containment unit is, we've got one more smaller room on a hinge where you can see that they are studying Loki's scepter. Along with maybe one thing not going on so well, Jarvis and just maybe just might be being corrupted by the Ultron AI. So, quite a bit of stuff on the interior, but of course, this isn't going to be the end of the video. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of these Technic bricks all over the place to show off all those fun, all the fun little stuff you can add on to the outside. So let's get all the figures on this thing. Alright, this thing is now completely loaded up with figures. I'll go from the ground up. Well, so, starting off, we've got Kevin Feige, Alexander Pierce, and all three S.H.I.E.L.D. agents out in front, with Tony in the back holding both the microscale Ant-Man and the Chitauri case. Now, next to that, we've got an Iron Man Mark 7 and War Machine. Oh, you do get quite a few of the staff of the action pose pieces, and in different variations. Like you see with War Machine, it's just a 1x1 transparent cylinder on top of a 2x2 dish piece. So to the left, we got the taxi with Black Panther, just to give a little bit of a size scale of the taxi to Avengers Tower, which actually looks pretty good. Next to on the right, we've got Thor on top of the Leviathan. We have Hulk hanging on from the side of the building, holding on the Chitauri. I believe he's about to get Hulk smashed. Next up, we got Black over here on the left. We got Black Widow getting the drop on one of the Chitauri, specifically the one driving Loki's chariot. With the other Chitauri hovercraft right above that. Then we've got Iron Man again dropped out of the building with the Mark 1 getting ready for deployment. Right above that, we have Wanda Maximoff on guard with Hawkeye recreating his awesome jump. Then right above that, we have my attempt at recreating one of the scenes from Age of Ultron. We have the Ultron Mark 1 stealing the scepter. Hey, Loki's not using it right now. He's down there on his chariot, so why not nab it with Falcon right on his heels? Next to Wanda, we have the not helicarrier, the Quinjet with Fury at the controls, getting ready for takeoff with Vision right next to him. Up on the top, we have Selvig manning the Tesseract containment unit, and then we've got the another Chitauri shooting down below at Wong with the Wops right below him. Oh, full disclosure, I do have 3 figures here that don't actually come with the set. I did mention that there are a couple of minifigure choices I would have changed up if I was designing a set, so I thought the best way to show off which figures I'd go with is by, well, showing them off in the set. And I mentioned that because we're about to see figure choice number 1 right now. I will have replaced Wong with someone who, unlike Wong, we know actually visited the tower, and that is Quicksilver. We've only ever gotten him in one set, the Hulk Hydra-based Smash, which I do believe was a Toys R Us exclusive set. So not only was he in only one set, he was in one set that wasn't all that easy to get a hold of. So yeah, this is the version from that one set. So this would make only set number 2 he was shown up in, making this only the second set he would have shown up in. But since we also have Wanda up there, this would make the only set where you can get both Maximoff twins. So yeah, so yeah, I thought that would be a fun little addition. Plus, like I said, unlike Wong, we know Pietro actually visited Avengers Tower in Age of Ultron, even though it was only for like an hour or so. But yeah, you see him getting ready to square off against one of the Outriders. So that's everybody on the outside. Let's go head on inside. Let me get the panel back off. And right off the bat, sitting in the office next to Pepper is figure choice number 2, which would have been super easy to do at the time. Why not add Bruce Banner? We got the Hulk over there, but for some reason they forgot to add Bruce Banner. And really, Lego had no excuse not to add him. He's the alter ego of one of the core 6 Avengers. Plus, the Hulkbuster War for Wakanda set had come out less than a year earlier, so they had a Bruce Banner figure ready to go. Full disclosure, this is the one from the Thor Ragnarok sets, specifically the Ultimate Battle for Asgard. So yeah, it is a little he is a little out of the timeline, so to speak. Considering he's from Ragnarok instead of Avengers or Age of Ultron or Endgame. Although admittedly in Endgame he was Smart Hulk, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that should have been just the easiest choice to add. That would be Bruce Banner. Next up in the lab we have both Captain Americas. One thing I didn't mention is that they added this little piece here to have one of the caps lying down. You know the line. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to say it, but you guys know the line. And then back there we have Dr. Helen Cho in her lab. We've got, like I said, in the earlier Mark 6 probably would have enjoyed having the repair bay here. Although I'm not really sure he would have enjoyed having Dummy being the one working on him. And then finally, we have figure choice number 3, and that is Agent Phil Coulson. They included the room where he died. Plus, you could have called him the character that was the glue that held the MCU together up to his death in Avengers. And much like Pietro down there, we've only ever gotten him in one set, and it wasn't even an MCU set. So yeah, like if you're gonna have the room, you gotta have Coulson. So those would have been my 3 figure choices: add in Agent Coulson, and Bruce Banner, and replace Wong with Pietro. So, with all that, let's go ahead and move on to the outro. Alright, just for a fun little comparison, here is Avengers Tower, not only next to the box it came into, but also the $200 Captain America's shield. And, no pun intended, but it towers over both of them. So, for $500, I would say this set was absolutely worth the price. Even if you're one of the guys who thinks the 10 cents per piece price per piece is the end all be all on whether a set is good, like you're still getting under that 10 cents per piece with 5,201 pieces for $500. That's just below that 10 cents per piece count. Plus, you get a small army of figures, not even counting the 3 I added into it. Plus, this thing is just it's just a fun, massive build. It looks absolutely fantastic. The end result speaks for itself. There are so many fun nods to the MCU and the comics. Plus, like I said, the little taxi kind of helps fill in the world a little bit. Helps make it feel like that there's life in the whole city, not just in the buildings that are added to it. But yeah, this thing is just looks fantastic. Awesome collection of figures. The side builds add quite a bit of fun, life, and playability to it. Even if it is a little difficult to access everything in the building. Plus, like I said, there were a few minifigure changes I will have added in with Coulson, Banner, and the Quicksilver. But taking everything into account, like the size, the amount of pieces you get, the figures you get, just the overall size of the build once it's done, I would absolutely say the $500 is well worth the money. if you can afford it, and if you are a big MCU fan, I would absolutely say there is no reason why you shouldn't get this thing. This might just be no, it absolutely is one of my new favorite sets in my collection. So much so that, much like as I have the Captain America shield in the right side corner of my desk, the Avengers Tower is now going to be a permanent resident in the left corner of my desk. Not only does this, like I said, this thing just looks fantastic. I want this to be somewhere I'm going to be seeing it a lot, if not all the time. I'll be the first to admit, this thing, it would not fit on any of my shelves. It's just too dang tall. Not to mention, even as big as it is, as strong as it feels, I'll be the first to admit, I'm not confident about moving that thing. Not to mention, that thing would be a pain in the neck to put back together if it ended up breaking in the middle of a trip across my house from my review room to my bedroom. But yeah, if you guys can get a hold of it, I would absolutely say you absolutely should. I would give this thing a solid 9.7 out of 10. The few changes would be the 3 minifigures. The 3 minifigure changes I threw in, plus maybe making it a bit more accessible to all the rooms. Like the Daily Bugle, where you could separate the floors to make it a bit more accessible. Although part of it, I can understand why it wasn't. I can't believe I forgot to mention this until now, but the whole section of the tower with like that includes the Quinjet landing pad, that starts off as a whole separate build and ends up getting attached to the Lego to the rest of the tower via a bunch of Technica rods and pins instead of just. The whole Quinjet landing bay is built separately and then added into the tower. So yeah, I can kind of see where part of it wouldn't be all that easily accessible, all due to need of stability. But still, I would give this thing a solid 9.7 out of 10. So that is the end of this absolutely crazy review. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have building this thing. I'm very happy to have this thing in my collection. If you guys enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Hit like, subscribe, all that stuff. Make sure to hit the notification button to make sure you're notified of when I drop a new video. Feel free to check out some more of my content on the end screen in just a few seconds. And I will see you all in the next video. Later, everybody!